Chnoa, the host of this lovely podcast, Hearts in Action. Now, you may be wondering, Sha-No-Wah, I've never heard of this podcast before. Well, that's because it's new. And today, October 1st, is the first day we're debuting Hearts in Action. Now, you may be wondering, what is Hearts in Action? Well, Hearts in Action is a brand new podcast created and led by a graduate assistant from the Office of Community Engagement. With the help of my other fellow graduate assistants within the Office of Mission and Culture, I have been able to gain support through social media, through ideas, through getting guests, and sharing stories along the way. Overall, this podcast will highlight meaningful stories, journeys, and the community efforts that reflect the hearts in our Sacred Heart community. So let's get into welcoming our special guest. Today we'll be asking Dr. P some thoughtful questions, so let's dive in. Hi, Dr. Petillo.
Welcome.
How are
Great to
you
be
doing
here.
today? Awesome. Well, so let's dive into some questions I have for
Sure.
you. The first question is, what inspired you to become a part of the Sacred Heart community?
Years ago, when I was president of another university in Jersey, I was on the board here. It was a much different school. Actually, when I was on the board, there were no residence halls here. So I was certainly aware of the university. Fast forward to 2009, I was asked to come up and visit and listen to a lecture by a guest speaker, Dr. Higgins. I think that was the cover because after the lecture, I was asked if I would consider helping out and applying for the Dean of Business because they were concerned about a reaccreditation. Thought about it, applied, was offered the job, and then 18 months later, the presidency became vacant, and the board pursued me. I did not initially respond because I wanted to go back to Jersey, and of course, it was the best decision I did not make, and so here I am from 2010.
So, since from that story, I'm hearing you didn't necessarily pursue the Sacred Heart president position. What keeps you, or kind of what drew in your passion and what keeps you passionate to today? Because that's from 2008?
No,
Around
2000, as president, I was interim for a few months, late 2010, and became official in March 2011. What kept me interested certainly was the community, the students, the culture that we've been able to develop, which I think is far different than most other colleges in terms of engagement and presence, et cetera.
I agree. Definitely a place I love coming back to for sure.
Great.
So, the next question is, what does the words hearts in action mean to you? And how do you see that reflected within the SHU community?
I think it's a great phrase, play on words of our name, of course, but I think it really speaks to what certainly my experience, and I believe experience of other students and certainly parents, that it is a community of engagement. I use that a lot. I use presence a lot. But I think it really speaks to the heart, no pun intended, of who we are and how we care for one another. And I think a series like this would highlight the unsung heroes that are around this campus.
And I appreciate you saying that because that really is kind of my mission to, again, we have so many people within the community. There's some who are introverted and some who are extroverted. And I really wanted to, give a playing field for kind of everybody to feel comfortable
Sure.
and share their experiences. So the next question is, can you share a story or moment that captures the spirit of Sacred Heart?
Yeah, I think I thought about this question, and it's a sad one, but I think it speaks to the character and the commitment of people. a good number of years ago, maybe as much as 10 years ago, it was freshman move in, and the young lady was living off campus in sorority and was coming to campus to help the kids moved in. And she unfortunately was struck by a car and killed. We had a memorial service, and I could not believe the turnout. The school was much smaller than it was today. The chapel was just packed with students, and I remember approaching one student whom I knew who was a freshman, and I said, "Gee, I didn't know you knew this young lady." And his response, I've quoted time and time again, his response was, "I didn't, but she was one of us." And that, I think, is to the essence of what this community is. Everyone is one of us. And we need to be constantly reminded of the beauty of that kind of phrase.
You gave me chills saying that. And I agree. Once a pioneer, always a pioneer, no matter if you end up at a different institution. So I do really relate to that. And that is something I feel like as a SHU student, as a SHU family, we are really intertwined with our experience. Yes, we have so many students and it gets larger every year, but I feel like everybody kind of does know each other. You do see those familiar faces very often. So the next question is, what are some resources or opportunities at SHU that you wish more students or even faculty or just our community in general would utilize more?
I can't say that I can identify a particular type of service. What I do tell, especially freshmen, during their orientation, during their acceptance student days, etc., is to get involved because the needs of students are different. There may be a student who is uncomfortable being away from home, or a student who is not used to sharing a room with anyone, or someone who just doesn't know how to relate in such an independent environment. And so there are different services, whether they be counseling services, whether they be the RSAs. But my advice is to get involved in the life of the university and try everything out. I think the program we have here for the last number of years now is an ideal setup, the first 50 days. And I tell them, try all 50 if you like. Just go and see where there's a mojo for you that clicks into that. And I don't think any one service is for everybody, but I think I encourage them to go experiment, go push the limits is really very important.
I agree. I actually do say the first 50 days are one of my favorites to experience because it's so much community and everybody's really out there. And it's like right before classes kind of get crazy and you have a lot of work to do. But yeah, I do feel like that is a pivotal thing that does draw us together. Those first moments on campus together as the start of the year really set the tone for the rest. So my final and last question for you is, what advice do you want to leave for our SHU community, our SHU family, in terms of putting their hearts in action?
For me, that is an easy answer. Get engaged. Get engaged. Take a risk. Try things. Push yourself. Push to see what your journey could be like. Don't be satisfied with the safety. Get out there, try it, discover who you are and who you can be. And by getting engaged, you're going to have a lot more people helping you in support, in exploring, and in affirming. So I think the least you want to do is stay in your room and go to class. The classes are just a small part, important, but a small part of your journey while here. And so the engagement is very key.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming today.
My pleasure.
And I appreciate you sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in today to view and listen to Hearts in Action. It was such a pleasure having Dr. Petillo for the first episode and debuting it to you all. Now, if you're ever interested in learning more, listening to our upcoming episodes, or being a guest on this podcast, feel free to drop by the Office of Community Engagement, HC 109. I'm usually there from 8:30 to 12:30 Monday through Friday. So if you're ever interested in getting involved some way, somehow, or just need some resources, feel free to reach out. Until next time, and until the next episode next week, October 7th, I'll see you then. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram for the latest updates at SHU_service. And drop a follow if you're interested in staying tuned for all that.